What if tomorrow you wake up and suddenly your job, your driver's license, or even your immigration case is at risk, and no one warned you? Thousands of immigrants in California are feeling stuck, confused, and scared as a new rule quietly goes into effect. Some people are already facing denials, delays, and unexpected consequences they never saw coming. And the most dangerous part? Many don't even realize this rule applies to them. If you're an immigrant or love someone who is, watching this entire video could help you avoid mistakes, protect your future, and understand what you must do right now.
Number 1. Expanded data sharing between agencies. Expanded data sharing between agencies is the rule causing the most fear, confusion, and uncertainty right now. Under this change, certain California state agencies can share limited information with other departments more easily than before. For immigrants, this feels alarming because personal details like names, addresses, and application records no longer feel contained in one place. Even when the purpose is efficiency, families worry about unintended consequences. Simple actions like applying for assistance, updating records, or renewing documents may now create a larger digital trail. This lack of clarity leaves many people feeling stuck, unsure whether everyday paperwork could later be misunderstood or misused. This rule matters because shared data can lead to additional reviews, processing delays, or requests for more proof. A minor error, outdated address, or inconsistent spelling may trigger follow-ups that slow down cases. Immigrants with pending applications, temporary status, or mixed status families feel especially vulnerable. Fear spreads quickly, and many people start avoiding programs they legally qualify for, including healthcare, housing support, and family assistance. Advocates warn that avoiding help can create long-term harm, increasing instability and stress. Understanding how information flows between agencies is now a critical part of protecting your immigration journey and personal security. Protection starts with being organized, consistent, and informed. Always keep copies of every document submitted, including confirmation emails and screenshots. Make sure your name, address, and identification details match exactly across all forms. Never share personal information with unverified individuals or online sources promising shortcuts. If something feels confusing, seek advice from a trusted legal aid organization before submitting paperwork. This rule does not automatically place immigrants in danger, but it does require more awareness and caution. Staying calm, verifying facts, and preparing documents carefully can prevent panic, reduce errors, and help families maintain control while navigating changing government systems during uncertain times. Ignoring these steps can increase stress, miss deadlines, and expose families to unnecessary risks during audits, reviews, or benefit renewals, especially when policies change quickly and communication from agencies remains limited, delayed, or unclear for many immigrant households.
Number 2. Stricter employment verification rules. Stricter employment verification rules are creating anxiety for immigrants who rely on steady work to support their families. Under this rule, employers are required to conduct more thorough checks of work authorization documents, and mistakes that were once overlooked are now flagged faster. For many workers, this feels overwhelming because even a small issue like an expired document, a name mismatch, or delayed renewal can suddenly put a job at risk. Immigrants who have worked for years without problems now fear unexpected termination even when they're actively trying to stay compliant. The biggest concern is that these checks often happen with little warning. Employees may be asked to resubmit documents on short notice, creating panic and confusion. Those with pending renewals, temporary work permits, and asylum-based authorization feel especially vulnerable. Some workers worry that speaking up could draw attention to their status, while others fear retaliation. Labor advocates stress that workers still have rights, regardless of immigration status. However, fear causes many people to quit jobs voluntarily, which can lead to financial instability, missed rent, and emotional stress across entire households. To reduce risk, preparation is critical. Keep updated copies of all employment authorization documents and track expiration dates carefully. Notify employers early if a renewal is in progress, and provide official receipts when available. Never present fake or altered documents, as this can cause serious legal consequences. If an employer threatens or pressures you unfairly, reach out to a trusted worker advocacy group or legal aid organization. This rule does not mean immigrants cannot work, but it does mean being proactive, informed, and organized is more important than ever. Staying ahead of deadlines, knowing your rights, and avoiding panic-based decisions can help protect your job, income, and long-term stability during a time when workplace scrutiny is increasing rapidly.
Number 3. New requirements for state benefit applications. New requirements for state benefit applications are triggering stress among immigrant families who depend on assistance for health, housing, and food security. Under this rule, applications are reviewed with more verification steps, meaning agencies may request additional documents or clarification before approving benefits. For many immigrants, this feels intimidating because it raises fears about exposure, even when applying for programs they're legally allowed to use. Confusion spreads quickly, especially in mixed status households, where families worry that one person's application could affect another's immigration future. The fear is often fueled by misinformation about public charge rules. Many immigrants mistakenly believe that receiving benefits will automatically harm their immigration case, even though that is not true for most state programs. Because of this, families may delay or completely avoid applying for help they qualify for. Advocates warn that skipping benefits can lead to untreated illnesses, housing instability, and deeper financial hardship. Children are especially affected when parents make decisions based on fear instead of facts. The rule itself does not target immigration enforcement, but the increased scrutiny creates emotional pressure that feels very real. Protecting yourself starts with accurate information and careful preparation. Only apply for benefits you are eligible to receive and provide truthful, complete information. Keep copies of every form, notice, and approval letter. If you receive a request for more documents, respond on time to avoid automatic denials. Never rely on advice from social media or unlicensed consultants. Instead, speak with a trusted legal aid organization or accredited community group before making decisions. This rule does not mean immigrants should avoid help, but it does mean every step should be taken with confidence, clarity, and awareness. Being informed allows families to protect their well-being while avoiding unnecessary fear during an already uncertain time.
Number 4. Driver's license and identification review changes. Driver's license and identification review changes are creating unease for immigrants who rely on valid ID for daily survival. Under this rule, renewals and updates are reviewed more carefully and inconsistencies are flagged more often. For many people, a driver's license is not just about driving. It affects employment, school access, banking, and emergency situations. Immigrants worry that a simple mistake, like an address mismatch or missing document, could delay approval and disrupt their entire routine. These changes are especially stressful for individuals using AB60 licenses or applying for Real ID. Appointments may now involve extra verification, longer processing times, or requests for additional proof. Some applicants report being asked questions they were not prepared for, leading to confusion and fear. Without proper identification, people may avoid driving, miss work, or skip medical appointments. This creates a ripple effect that impacts families, children, and community stability. The rule does not cancel licenses automatically, but the increased scrutiny makes the process feel unpredictable. Preparation is the strongest form of protection. Bring original documents, not copies, to every appointment whenever possible. Double-check that your name, date of birth, and address match across all records. Keep renewal receipts and confirmation notices in a safe place. Arrive early and remain calm if questions arise. If a license is delayed, ask for written information explaining the reason. This rule does not remove the right to apply, but it does require more attention to detail. Staying organized, patient, and informed can reduce disruptions and help immigrants maintain independence during changing identification procedures that now demand greater accuracy in documentation. Number 5. Increased workplace inspections and audits. Increased workplace inspections and audits are making many immigrant workers feel uneasy and on edge. Under this rule, certain industries are seeing more frequent visits, paperwork checks, and compliance reviews. These inspections often focus on employment records, authorization forms, and payroll details. For immigrants, even when they are legally working, the presence of inspectors can create fear of job loss or unexpected questioning. The stress is intensified when workers are not informed ahead of time, leaving them feeling trapped between needing income and worrying about exposure. What makes this rule especially difficult is the lack of clarity workers often receive. Employers may not explain what is happening, and rumors spread quickly on the job site. Some workers panic and leave work early, while others quit altogether to avoid attention. Advocates warn that this reaction can lead to financial hardship, missed rent, and food insecurity. It is important to understand that inspections target employers, not employees, and workers still have rights. Fear, however, can override logic, causing people to make decisions that hurt their long-term stability. Preparation and knowledge are powerful tools. Workers should keep personal copies of employment documents and know basic workplace rights, including the right to remain silent and the right to ask for legal help. Never sign documents you do not understand. If an employer threatens or intimidates workers, reach out to a trusted worker support organization immediately. This rule does not mean automatic danger, but it does mean immigrants must stay calm, informed, and alert. Understanding the process helps reduce panic, protects income, and allows families to stay grounded, even when inspections increase and uncertainty feels overwhelming in the workplace. Number 6. Housing application and rental screening updates. Housing application and rental screening updates are causing anxiety for immigrants searching for or renewing a place to live. Under this rule, landlords and property managers may conduct more detailed screenings, including verification of identity, income, and household information. For immigrant families, this raises fears of denial, delays, or discrimination, especially when paperwork is complex or unfamiliar. Housing is stability, and when access to it feels uncertain, families can feel stuck and vulnerable. These changes affect both new applications and lease renewals. A missing document, inconsistent name spelling, or lack of traditional credit history may trigger extra questions. Immigrants in mixed-status households worry that applying together could expose family members or lead to rejection. Advocates note that fear often pushes people to accept unsafe housing or avoid asserting their rights. While the rule does not remove fair housing protections, the process can feel intimidating, especially when communication from landlords is unclear or rushed. The best defense is documentation and awareness. Keep proof of rental history, payment records, and references from previous landlords. Ask for written explanations if an application is denied or delayed. Never provide sensitive information beyond what is legally required. If discrimination is suspected, contact a local housing rights organization for guidance. This rule does not eliminate the right to housing, but it does require immigrants to be more organized, assertive, and informed. Staying proactive helps families protect their housing stability and avoid unnecessary stress while navigating stricter screening practices that increasingly affect renters across different communities.
Number 7. New compliance rules for international students and visa holders. New compliance rules for international students and visa holders are creating pressure for those studying or working under temporary visas. Under this rule, schools and sponsoring organizations must report status updates more quickly, leaving little room for missed deadlines or mistakes. For many students, a single overlooked email or late form can now trigger serious consequences. This increased oversight makes daily life feel tense, especially for those balancing classes, jobs, and legal responsibilities at the same time. The challenge is that these requirements are often complex and constantly changing. Students may need to update addresses, course loads, or employment details on strict timelines. Visa holders fear that even unintentional errors could result in status violations or loss of work authorization. Stress increases when communication from institutions is unclear or delayed. Without proper guidance, many individuals feel isolated and unsure who to trust, making small issues feel overwhelming and dangerous. Staying compliant requires discipline and organization. Track all deadlines, save every official message, and respond promptly to requests from schools or sponsors. Regularly check in with your international student office or program advisor to confirm your status. Never assume silence means everything is fine. If confusion arises, seek help from a qualified immigration professional immediately. This rule does not mean students and visa holders are unwelcome, but it does demand greater attention to detail. Staying informed and proactive can prevent disruptions, protect educational goals, and reduce fear during a period of heightened oversight and accountability.
Number 8. Law enforcement interaction and questioning changes. Law enforcement interaction and questioning changes are increasing fear during everyday encounters like traffic stops or public incidents. Under this rule, officers may follow updated procedures when collecting personal information, which makes many immigrants nervous about what can be asked and what must be answered. Even routine situations can feel threatening when people are unsure of their rights. This uncertainty causes many to freeze, overshare, or panic, increasing stress in moments that already feel intense. Misinformation makes this rule more frightening than it needs to be. Many immigrants believe they must answer every question or provide documents immediately, even when that is not required. Advocates emphasize that people still have basic rights, including the right to remain silent and the right to ask for a lawyer. Fear often leads to compliance beyond what is legally necessary, which can create confusion or complications later. Knowing what is optional versus mandatory can make a major difference during these interactions. Preparation is the key to confidence. Learn simple phrases like, "I choose to remain silent," and "I would like to speak to a lawyer." Carry important documents only when required and avoid volunteering extra information. Stay calm, respectful, and do not argue on the spot. If questioned, ask clearly whether you are free to leave. This rule does not remove rights, but it does require immigrants to be more aware and prepared. Understanding boundaries helps reduce fear, prevent mistakes, and protect individuals during stressful encounters where emotions and uncertainty run high.
Number 9. Tighter deadlines for immigration filings and responses. Tighter deadlines for immigration filings and responses are creating serious pressure for immigrants with pending cases. Under this rule, government agencies are allowing less flexibility when documents are late or incomplete. Notices that were once given extra time now come with strict response windows. For immigrants juggling work, family, and legal stress, missing a single deadline can feel devastating. A delayed response may result in case denial, closure, or loss of legal protections, even when the mistake was unintentional. The biggest challenge is that many notices arrive unexpectedly or are difficult to understand. Some are mailed to old addresses, while others use complex language that causes confusion. Immigrants with asylum cases, work permit renewals, or family petitions feel especially vulnerable. Fear causes people to procrastinate or ignore letters they do not fully understand, which only makes the situation worse. Legal advocates warn that silence is often interpreted as abandonment, not confusion. This rule increases emotional stress because there is little room for error. The most effective defense is early action. Open all mail immediately and keep a dedicated folder for immigration documents. Track deadlines on a calendar with reminders several days in advance. Respond even if you are unsure and seek help quickly from a trusted legal aid organization. Never assume extra time will be granted. This rule does not mean cases will fail automatically, but it does mean immigrants must act with urgency, organization, and focus. Staying alert, responding promptly, and asking for help early can protect cases and prevent irreversible consequences during a time when timing matters more than ever.
Number 10. Stronger penalties against immigration scams and fake consultants. Stronger penalties against immigration scams and fake consultants are bringing mixed emotions for immigrants. On one hand, this rule is meant to protect families from fraud. On the other, many immigrants now fear they may have already been harmed without realizing it. Fake consultants often promise fast approvals, special connections, or guaranteed results, exploiting fear and urgency. When new penalties take effect, people worry their past interactions could create legal trouble or delays in their cases. The problem is that immigration scams are deeply rooted in communities. Many victims trusted someone recommended by friends or family, not knowing they were unlicensed. These fake helpers often file incorrect forms, miss deadlines, or submit false information. When authorities review cases more closely, those errors can surface, leading to denials, requests for evidence, or accusations of misrepresentation. Fear keeps many victims silent, allowing damage to grow over time. This rule increases scrutiny, which can feel overwhelming for those unsure if their case was handled correctly. Protection begins with verification and honesty. Only work with licensed immigration attorneys or accredited representatives. Ask for written contracts, receipts, and copies of everything filed. If you suspect past fraud, seek help from a trusted legal aid organization immediately, rather than waiting. Reporting scams can prevent others from being harmed. This rule is not meant to punish immigrants, but to remove those who profit from fear. Taking action, asking questions, and correcting mistakes early can help families regain control, reduce anxiety, and move forward with greater confidence during a time when accurate guidance matters more than ever.
These new rules have created a wave of uncertainty, but fear alone should never guide life-changing decisions. What matters most right now is awareness, preparation, and credible information. Each rule discussed in this video shows how small details, documents, deadlines, and communication can suddenly carry bigger consequences. That does not mean immigrants are powerless. It means knowledge has become one of the strongest forms of protection. When you understand what is changing, you are far less likely to make decisions based on rumors or panic. Many immigrants feel stuck because policies shift quickly while clear explanations lag behind. That gap creates anxiety, especially for families already carrying emotional and financial pressure. Staying organized, asking questions early, and relying on trusted legal sources can reduce that stress. Avoiding action out of fear often creates more risk than taking informed steps forward. Even when systems feel intimidating, preparation restores a sense of control and direction. Community awareness also matters. Sharing accurate information helps protect others who may not have access to reliable guidance. When immigrants support one another with facts instead of fear, families become stronger and more resilient. These rules are not designed to break communities, but navigating them requires calm thinking, patience, and vigilance. Staying informed allows people to protect their rights, stability, and future opportunities. This video was meant to empower, not alarm. Laws and policies will continue to change, but those who stay informed can adapt with confidence. Knowledge does not remove uncertainty, but it replaces fear with clarity. When immigrants understand the system, they can move forward with greater confidence, stronger decisions, and hope grounded in preparation rather than panic. Now we want to hear your voice. Which rule concerns you the most, or which one surprised you? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let others learn from your experience. Watch our previous video for more updates that could directly impact your future. We put a lot of time and effort into breaking these topics down for you. Please support us by subscribing. It's just one click, but it helps us keep bringing you information that truly matters.